Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
What's
Welcome.
up? What's up?
I'm Nicole Everett,
I'm Joe Keetra.
Nick Rains, dating coach.
and we are Single in the City, the love team of Single in the City where kings meet queens. We are all about putting the fun back in dating. We've been doing these meetups, if you will, since last August, and we are so delighted to be here with you tonight. We are doing a part two to last week's live chat where we discussed Rom Wills, the author, Nice Guys and Players book. He will be here with us next Tuesday at 8:30. So we are giving a pre-discussion so we'll know we'll be ready for him when he comes. So we're gonna give you a recap of what we discussed last week. But before we do that, we want to hear from you. We want to know where you are tuning in from. So I think I saw Sean Brown saying hola.
What's up,
Hola.
Sean? Hola, what's up? What's
Hey,
up, buddy?
Sean. Sean, we need you to go ahead and like, love, and share it too, Sean. Can we get you to do that?
I love it, Sean.
Like, love, and share. To let us know what city and state you're tuning in from. And like, love, and share. If you like what we're doing here, give us some love. Show us some love.
I see Janetta is on. So, Janetta, if you can make sure you like, love, and share it too.
Yes.
What's up, Janetta?
Appreciate that.
And
Yeah.
on mine, I see Pierre and Mr. Brown have joined on.
All right. So Sean said yes. My cousin Erica's on from Waldorf, Maryland.
What's up,
Hey,
cuz?
cousin.
Yes, yes. All right. Sean said he's in Tally. Good deal. Appreciate it. Tallahassee,
Bro,
all right, good deal. So, as you all are coming on, we're gonna ask Nick to give us the recap of last week.
so to recap, well, again, we're speaking about Nice Guys and Players by the field general, Uncle Ron. He's going to come and expound on everything that we're talking about, and he's excited. We're all excited to have him. But just a little recap from last week. The question that we had were ultimately, does the woman choose the man or does the man choose the woman? And as we talked about it in the book, the woman chooses the man, actually, and the man's job is to pursue and also understand that he has been chosen. So that's one of the things we discussed. So the woman ultimately chooses the man pursues and takes and understand that he's chosen so he can actually initiate the communication or the interaction.
Okay.
So the other thing we talked about, what is a select man and a non-select man and how are they different? So the select man, one of the things that he talked about in his book was that out of the scenario he gave, if you had 100 women in the room, for a select man, at least 70 of them women, 70, will find this man attractive. That's a select man. So to go up and for the select man has the body build, he dresses nice, he has the charisma, he has the conversation, he has the sexual chemistry, he has all of that. The other difference was the non-select man in that same room of 100 women, the non-select man would be lucky if 10 women even notice him in that same room. So that's the non-select man. But one thing we did talk about is that you can work to help yourself become a select man. And one of the comments I remember is that women can also help with that too as well, because if you understand that if you're trying to attract women, if you have a platonic woman that you can actually ask for tips, that can actually help you become that select man or be pre-select also. The body game. Uncle Ron is extremely big on the body game. He's actually known for the body game. And we talked about the benefits of the body game, which is attraction. One thing I also heard from Uncle Ron is that with the body game, you also want to dress a certain way, accentuate what you have, your features, your physique. Now you can actually, on what you wear, you can actually cause someone to compel someone to you, or either cause someone to actually not be attracted to you. So it's the way you dress and the way you accentuate your actually body features. So he's big on the body game. And he goes even deeper, and he probably do that when he get on the show about how the body game can also stimulate other areas in women that you may not have to work too hard for. So that's another subject, but I let him get into that.
All right. Well, thank you
Oh, I
for
can wait. I'm so ready for next Tuesday to get here. You
look
just have no idea.
in me both.
So Rashida,
Hey, Rashima, Rashina, right?
yeah,
Yes.
Rashida.
Rashina, I know Val is watching, so hey, Val.
Okay. Shantina said, "Love your picture." We got DK on tonight. Hey,
Hey, what's up, DK?
DK.
DK, we gotta talk you up.
Mhm. We
That's
appreciate
our Reverend Doctor that we call in for more breakdown and profound of the Bible and the biblical scriptures when it comes to dating.
Yes,
Thank
and
you,
he's
DK, for
always
tuning
ready
in.
to tap in. If we need him to
Yes,
tap in to log in, he's gonna be ready.
right.
you.
DK is like our biblical lifeline. You know, when we got to call in a lifeline.
Right. Our
Yeah.
resident pastor.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so tonight, hey
Mhm.
Val.
Hey, Val.
So
Tonight.
tonight, y'all want to get into tonight? Y'all ready?
Get
Mm-hmm.
into tonight.
Yeah, go and drink some water, Nick, and get ready.
Yeah.
Ozzy
What's up,
Hey,
Ozzy?
Ozzy, live and live life.
and some.
Hi. Oh, she's beautiful. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so the questions for tonight that we're going to
Yeah.
go over, I'll just go ahead and read them all so they can be in your mind because the first one is going to really get you. So, who is Mr. Goodbar?
Right.
Who is Mr. Goodbar? The other one is who are the masked men?
Mm-hmm.
The next one is how are they different from the gamesmen? And then the other one is what are some of the struggles of the player slash gamesman?
Yes.
So I just want to know who is Mr. Goodbar because I've
All
been
right.
Googling who Mr. Goodbar is. I was like the candy bar. So I want to know who is Mr. Goodbar because what I Googled and found out it's kind of explicit.
Mm. Do
So
tell, Nick. Do tell.
some women may treat Mr. Goodbar like a candy bar, so you're probably not far off about who Mr. Goodbar is. So what I want to do tonight, because I want to encourage people to go get the book if you haven't already got it. I'm reading some excerpts from the book because so I'm going to be doing a lot of quoting. So feel free to stop me because I am kind of reading because I don't want to miss any characteristic of these men because you can actually comment on several things. And you may even know some other men out there like this. So feel free, Nicole, to stop me. Feel free to elaborate. Feel free to like ask questions about that. Okay.
Look, they're already getting ready. So listen, look, before Nick go into who Mr. Goodbar is, can y'all like, love, and share this so we can so
Yes, like, love,
everybody
and
will
share.
know who Mr. Goodbar is.
Right.
So when Uncle Rom come next week, he can stamp our definition of Mr. Goodbar.
Please. Please,
All right.
please. Spread the word.
Okay. So Mr. Goodbar, women fall over themselves to be with him. Pay his way on dates. They give him money. Women read about this guy in romance novels. He has genetic beauty. So he's blessed genetically when it comes to looks. Men and women both would consider him handsome. Also, probably call him a pretty boy. All right. Smooth skin, sexy eyes, straight teeth, nice lips, etc. So that's Mr. Goodbar. Just picture that for a minute. When
I'm picturing the Rock.
okay, all right,
You just defined the Rock to me in my eyes.
right. Women get breathless when they see him.
Oh.
Now we can stop there. Now it's two types of Mr. Goodbar. We'll stop there and let people come in if they want to. Okay.
Well, okay, the good bar, the candy bar is chocolate with some peanuts. So
But
I'm trying to think. You say it's two kinds.
Yes.
so wait. Before we do that, I want the ladies to in the comments let us know. Have you ever run across a Mr. Goodbar based on
Yes.
what Nick has just described? Have any ladies out there run into Mr. Goodbar based on what Nick just described. So Mia said, sounds like one of my exes.
Nice.
Oh goodness. Ozzy said I should be done by the time he comes on. A good 77 pages of reading. He should have called me to get the emotional intelligent excerpt to do to it. All right, Ozzy. I know you're gonna be ready.
So Ozzy is reading the book.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Ozzy is a good study. He a good student.
I should be ready, equipped with a bunch of questions or probably comments.
Ooh.
Yes, that's a good one. That would be the light skin, Mr. Goodbar.
Like that Christian Grey dude. 50 Shades of Grey. All right. So Jamaica said yes, she has. All right. Ozzy said, well, I was Mr. Goodbar in Sicily while stationed there. Lord, Ozzy. That was a whole generation ago.
I'm done.
That was a whole generation ago, sir. Don't be telling your old war stories. We don't want to hear it.
No, Ozzy, listen, you go and brag on yourself, Ozzy. I'm with you. Give me that up, Ozzy. I'm there for you.
We need to know what you're working with now, Ozzy. You don't need to know about Sicily. We need to know what you're working with now.
Mr. Goodbar has extreme confidence and great attitude. So Ozzy, I'm with you.
Got it.
Well,
I'm with you, Ozzy. I'm with you.
I got that. That's for sure.
Matter of fact, get you a shirt that say, I was Mr. Goodbar in Sicily.
That's good. That's a good one.
I got to put Ozzy's name down here on my Goodbar note. Ozzy in Sicily. All right. Mia said, Yeppers.
Air last ninja that she's dated.
Air last ninja I dated. I'm the shadow friend. Bless her heart.
No, Mia, you ain't shallow. You just know how to pull them Mr. Goodbars.
Shantina said, not light skin. That is funny. All right.
So when you say that there are two kinds, is that based on color? Is that or is based on something else?
No, it's based on something else. So he's saying this is an or. So that's Mr. Goodbar, and you could also have another type of Mr. Goodbar. Okay. Not say he didn't give y'all the years.
Right.
he was in it for 3 years. He was Mr. Goodbar for 3 years.
He was in his prime. That was his prime.
Now don't you pull out no pictures now and try to post them.
So do not. Do not.
Okay, so the two types. What are the two types?
Other type of Mr. Goodbar is also a man with an average face with an exceptional physique. The thing that separates Mr. Goodbar from other men is his attitude, like we're just talking about. His attitude, extreme confidence. He knows how to push a woman's romantic buttons, and he knows how to charm a woman. But this is one thing about Mr. Goodbar. This is a flaw, if you want to call it, about Mr. Goodbar. He works the least to keep the relationship going.
Oh, wow. I think I might know some of them.
So I know the women probably could chime in why he probably works at least to keep the relationship going.
You ain't got to.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is his incentive when he has other women that are trying to get with him?
Just go to the next one.
Say what?
You just go to the next one. Like you say, you just go to the next one. Or you just pull the other one off the bench. That's already been waiting.
See, she can relate. Tamara can rate. It's a Tamara. She can relate to the one you just described.
I've met a few of them. Mm-hmm. So you said exceptional. No, you said average face, but exceptional physique. Work the least to keep the relationship intact or going or
building, have a good relationship, healthy relationship. He's going to work the least.
Okay.
So I think that, like Val, I know that one. So that might be the era that a lot of us single Black women are in. We meet a lot of those. and more specifically based on the latter part of what you just said, as far as working the least to keep the relationship intact.
Right.
So of course, Mr. Goodbar, he feels like he's the prize. So he's not going to do the work. He's like, it's a pleasure for you to have him around.
Oh.
Lord have mercy, Jesus.
Sound like an escort.
It can be. Definitely can be.
But I think that him feeling as if it's a joy to have him around would not necessarily be a bad feeling, because I think that the woman should feel that way also. If it was both, if it was, reciprocal, you should want that.
Right.
But you're speaking of it more in an arrogant type tone.
Yeah.
That he might take that on.
Yeah. He also mentioned too that Mr. Goodbar a lot of times is also successful. So he has a lot going for himself too. It's like he could dress nice, he charming, successful. And so he doesn't have to work real hard. He won't work real hard to keep the relationship going, because he know he could just have another relationship, or he may be involved in another relationship. So
that's the Christian Grey that he described earlier, as far as the success goes.
Right. He's also successful as well.
He smell good. He got a lot of swag.
Yes.
He knows what to say.
That's what to say.
Okay, maybe I'm jumping ahead here. Does he eventually tell you how to, I guess, how to keep a Mr. Goodbar, or how to win a Mr. Goodbar over?
He doesn't really. I don't think he really dives into that, because the thing is, that's not up. You can't win him over. He has to choose.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Mr. Goodbar has to decide to settle down, because he don't have to.
He don't want to be kept.
Well, I guess it could go to the Christian Grey story, to where he had to decide to give up those ways, because she eventually won him over. It was something about her that made him want to change. So I'm just thinking that even though it could be a Mr. Goodbar, it has to be something about someone to make them want to change.
Hey, Ursula.
Hi, Ursula. Okay, so that's all he said about type 1.
Yes, that's the Mr. Goodbar in a nutshell.
So Mia said, I swear.
So what about type 2?
All right, so you talking about the next character that we're talking about, the next question?
No, I thought you said that there were 2 types of
That
Mr.
is
Goodbar.
That is two. So, the first one, the first one is the pretty boy.
Right.
Exceptional. He's the one that you read the romance novels. Like, he's that guy that may be in a closet, when your man go to work and he's just sitting there, he don't have a job,
Yeah. He got the foolishness going on tonight.
Yeah, he's that guy.
That's her name. I couldn't think of her name.
Anastasia.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well, it ain't that many Christian Greys out there for us sisters. We got to remember that part was a movie.
Right.
So basically the 2 types are pretty boy and average.
Average with exceptional physique.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's the body game piece that goes into it.
Right. But they all dress real nice. Body is immaculate. Knows exactly what to say. Know exactly what to do to a woman, and knows what a woman is looking for.
Because when I Googled Mr. Goodbar, it referenced a movie dated back in 1970. And it had a lot to do with sex. That was like the driving force behind it. Like, basically, she was looking for a Mr. Goodbar. So that's why when I was thinking, he was thinking, okay, Mr. Goodbar's chocolate with some nuts, with some peanuts. So I kind of took it.
Yeah, he doesn't lack anything in the bedroom either. So Mr. Goodbar is all the way around.
You left that out.
No, I'm leaving that for him. I'm leaving that for him. Yeah.
Well, I guess neither did Christian Grey.
Yeah.
True that.
Yeah.
True that. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So we know who Mr. Goodbar is.
Well, at least we'll definitely find out. We got a taste of Mr. Goodbar. Next week, we're going to know for sure who Mr. Goodbar is.
Okay. That's definitely one of the questions for next week.
Okay, so who are the masked men?
All right, the masked man does not have raw sex appeal like Mr. Goodbar. He's average looking to most women, and he may have to spend more time working on his looks. Must make an effort to stay well-groomed. Masked men make up for what they lack in looks with impeccable grooming and dynamic style. They are typically successful, has status that respected in society, usually has a nice car and a house, and is invited to all the happening parties. They They may have made, they may have had many painful relationship experiences, though. They may have been ignored because they were not attractive prior to. They may wear a mask of success, but under the mask, they have a lot of battle scars. A lot of battle scars.
Mm.
That's the masked man.
That's kind of deep and kind of wicked and scary.
Yeah,
That sounds like a brother that need to go lay on the couch.
that's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Like you said, that's why you call them the masked men. They put on a mask. It's a facade.
Mm.
They select men. They could be select men, but they have a lot of hurt and pain in the past.
Yeah, me.
Well, Mia, you're 2 for 2. You 2 for 2 on me.
Yeah, I know a few of those too, Mia.
Really? I guess I don't know any masked men, or maybe I haven't dealt with any masked men, because that man really does sound broken.
Yeah, but that's the mask. You probably do, but you don't recognize it because they're wearing the mask and not showing their brokenness.
They so well put together.
I guess when I think of brokenness, because I know all of us have some brokenness, and we talk about there's beauty in your brokenness. All of us have some issues, but what Nick just described, to me, I mean, it just seems like he don't really need to be dating nobody.
Yeah, he has a lot. He has a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, he got a pile of stuff. So, because none of us are perfect, all of us have something. But what you just described, you listed like 6, 7 different things.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of folks don't need to be, in relationships because they really need to be working on their issues, but they don't, we don't think about that. We just, jump on out there. I believe that the American standard, it looks favorably upon couples. And so we're all, trying to get there, trying to find that companionship or that mate or what have you. Because I think that's a lot of the messaging that we see as well. So, I feel like that, there's thought that singleness is incompleteness, and you are complete if you have a mate or a companion or somebody to be with. So I don't think they taking all of that into consideration. It's sort of like this is what a man is supposed to do. Just like, last week we was talking about that man that's at the club that has gone around to every woman in the club, even though he got rejected by half the club, but somebody gonna, give in. Right.
But Nick, can you run down the masked man one more again? Now, one more time, one more again.
So Nick, just before you do, because we got a lot of comments.
Oh, good.
I just want to, put a few of them up. Ozzy said the masked man is 50 Shades of Grey. Val said she's met him too. Let me see. Tamaria said, yep, most times they can be insecure in a relationship because of their past.
I agree with that.
All right. Mia said, I've never dated one, but I know them personally and people view them as super successful, charming, and well put together.
That's true, Mia. That's the masked man, definitely.
All right. You guys right I need to be dating.
Right, Val. He has a lot of introspection and a lot of work he needs to do on himself.
Okay, good. I mean, because that's just what I gathered from what you said, because I was just thinking that's a whole lot of wrongness.
It is, but people die, they get out there regardless. They don't care about,
Well, I mean, that works both ways. There are both women, we have issues too. That work both ways. But it was just something that I think Nick said in particular. That's why I was wondering, okay, maybe I missed something, or maybe I was looking further into it.
All right. To Mary said, right. You have to find the right person that can help heal and accept your scars. All right.
Well, I think definitely on the accepting the scars, but on the healing part, I think it's important for us to heal prior to dating.
I do too.
So I'll summarize it real quick, Drakisha. So the masked men make up for what they don't lack in looks with impeccable grooming, dynamic style. They are typically successful. has status and respected in society, usually has a nice car, a nice house, and they're invited to all the happening parties. They may have had many painful relationship experiences. They may have been ignored because they were unattractive prior to. May wear a mask of success, but under the mask, they have a lot of battle scars. So they're so well put together till you really can't tell that they have issues until you really get a chance to know them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Outward appearance and just seeing them and just for a brief snapshot of their life, you feel like that they have the life and they have it going on until you really, really sit down with them and really get to know them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Val said, just leaving embittered women or men in their wake.
Yep. Okay. Woo. So was there anything else to say about the masked men? Did Uncle Rom give any more on that?
He did say something about that the masked man will also exploit a woman if you get the opportunity to. It's almost like the masked man, he's still trying to get back with the current women that he may be with from what the past women did to him and hurt his feelings or broke his heart.
Now that is pretty deep right there. Wow.
He's still not over it. So the masked man sounds like that he actually used the turn downs, the women rejecting him as motivation to become extremely successful, put himself together so he can get back at them.
Gotcha. Yeah. So his success is his revenge. Wow.
That's some serious, we need Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. So then how are they different from the gamesmen?
So we get into the gamesmen.
Wait a minute. Paula said, now I got to fight him. Oh, gosh. Wow. All right. Interesting. All right.
So the gamesman, I will say he's kind of like a player. And if you ever made a player, you're going to probably hear this out when I read the gamesman.
Okay.
Right. So the player, or the gamesman, I should say, is average looking, has an average job if he's even working. That's if he has a job.
Oh.
Typically has been burned in many of his dealings with the opposite sex. He realizes that he doesn't have the tools to succeed with women of the new millennium. Typically, he doesn't have looks or money. His only option is to withdraw from the game or pretend he's a select man. So this guy reads a lot. This guy studies women. The gamesman is also, he referred to him as a nice guy who has decided that enough is enough. He will lie, he will cheat, and he will do whatever it takes to get a woman into bed. He is ruthless and will do a woman out. He was ruthless and he will do a woman out whenever the opportunity presents itself. So he will actually do a woman in, he will say bad things whenever the opportunity presents itself. So he's kind of like the masked man as well. He presents illusions to women. He reads articles and books to act like he is the man, but what he really lacks is substance. So that's the difference, Jakitra. The gamesman, he lacks substance. So he will borrow a friend's car, he will borrow a friend's house or condo to impress a lady. He will even act like a devout Christian if that's what you're into.
Yeah, actor.
Yes.
Look, Dan Richardson said that the masked brother was a sad brother, but he said this guy is sad too. Okay, so basically when I saw gamesman, I just immediately was like, okay, this is someone who plays games, but now you're describing someone that's pretty much pathetic. Because someone who playing games doesn't necessarily have to. They could be employed and successful and doing well, but this takes it on a whole nother level with what you just defined.
Now the difference, you asked the difference in it, and this is one of the key things about the gamesman. This is the difference from him and the actual the Mr. Goodbar and the masked man. This is the major difference of a gamesman. The
Shantina,
gamesman,
he sounds like a narcissist.
yes. The gamesman, he actually has an idea of the tools necessary to succeed with a woman, but he won't try to develop them or become that type of person. So he knows what to do to be a man of substance, but he won't actually invest in the time or invest in himself. So he has no substance. This is the type of guy, after about 2 months, the gamesman will be forced to start a new game with a new set of women because they didn't figure them out.
Wow, I am so appalled. I just I don't.
Right.
I'm just like, look, can we call Uncle Rom?
We'll see.
He's coming next week.
Because we're gonna get to a good man that he gonna describe, I hope.
Yes, manipulator. Straight up, Ozzy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This guy would do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Lie, cheat, steal to get the woman. Whatever it takes. Like I said, the part that really got me is this guy will borrow his friend's car. He will say his friend's condo or house is his. Whatever it takes to get the woman to come over there. Whatever it takes. And like I said, after about a couple of months, you figure him out. So he has to come up with a new game with a new set of women.
But you know, there are movies that, you know, the Steve Harvey movie had where, what is it, Michael Ealy, you know, he used Kevin Hart to have the limo to take what's her name out to impress her, but he wasn't a total jerk. You know what I mean? Like this guy, you know.
He was trying to impress based on the woman he met, but see, he actually has substance. He just really wasn't I guess he wasn't too proud of what he's accomplished. Compared to the woman he met, he wasn't too proud of that. And he had substance though.
Right.
He thought
but this guy has none of that.
Yeah. He thought she was out of his league.
Right.
And so he was trying to, you know, pretend like he was on her level because he still wanted her. So Candace asked a question, and I don't know if she probably just got on the live, but she said, how did you come up with these descriptions? So Nick, just explain to her what we're doing.
So Candace, good question. We're actually reading from Nice Guys and Players, Uncle Rom Wills. He actually is the author of that book. And so these are his descriptives of these men, the masked man, the actual Mr. Goodbar, and the gamesman. So that's how I came up with that. It actually comes from the book, and I'm reading these kind of verbatim because I want people to actually go get the book because it's a very good read, a very good book. So, but we'll have Uncle Rom on next week, so make sure you tune into that also.
Yes. Okay. All right. I'm a little outdone by this.
Yeah, I don't even know what to ask or what
to look, Uncle Ron got Jokeisha tongue tied.
Yeah, I'm just thinking at 48 years old, I have never heard of the gamesman and the masked man and Mr. Goodbar. I'm just thinking, well, where have I been? I guess
crazy thing is, I've met all of them and I've been friends with some of them. I'll say that. So I've actually met.
You've been holding out on us.
I've met all of them. You know, and it's funny, and it's like I would actually pull from each one of them. You know, there were certain things that I did like about them that I would pull from them, and there were certain things I was like, no, I would never do that. But I've met all of them.
Hold on. When you say pull from them in what way? For you to use
Sorry, say it again.
Pull from them meaning for you to use with women, or what?
But more so to develop myself.
Okay.
Like how to dress, you know, the attire, how you want to be well groomed at all times, things like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I could see men possessing some of all three of these. So maybe they are a good bar, but they do like to study and read and that sort of thing, but they may lie as well. You know what I'm saying? So I can see them having different components of all three of these men.
Yes, I think that makes. I would say something about that, Ozzy, but I'm gonna save it. But I agree with you, Nicole. I do think that you have to pull, the components from each, and then I probably can identify someone, But I know Kenneth Jackson said that a soundtrack for the Gamesman ought to be that song by Alexander O'Neal. You're a fake.
True.
I think what she's saying is probably very true. And that's what I was gonna say to Ozzy.
So Candace said there's no way to identify this until you're in it. I think you have to be a guy to know this. And he is a guy. So David had a point. He said, I was going to ask which is the most desirable, but I think it comes down to the parties involved and what, as a guy, you are allowed to get away with.
So I would like to say, because y'all seem kind of sad. After I read all these, y'all seem kind of depressed a little bit. So
it's a little. Nick. It's a down.
It does take you back a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Let me just say this. Uncle Rom, he's coming on next week, and the other guy that I left out was the real man. So the reason why I left out the real man, because Uncle Rom said he wanted to discuss that specifically. He wanted to talk about the real man. So I'm gonna let him do that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and create in my mind the definition of a real man. Yes. Which I think is completely, totally opposite of the masked man and the games man. It has to be, because Jesus, I am a little hurt and disappointed right about now.
I really hope. I didn't want to leave y'all like that, because, like you said, like Mia said, it is pretty heavy. But he's going to talk about the real man. So it is a real man out there. He's going to dive into that. He specifically said he want to cover that. So I'm going to leave that for him.
Okay.
But what Shantina said about having close, and honest male friends and real brothers friends is an education. I have that. But I think that's why I'm so disheartened, because even in having that, I have never heard men being described the way they were just described, or Uncle Rom describes them. And maybe it's because of what Nicole said, you had to take different components, when you start talking about real beings and pulling from that. And I can see some components in different men, but giving them those titles, I am hurt by it.
Val said, leave us on a great day.
That's what I was trying to do, Val. I was trying to say there is hope. The real man, it's the real man. It's the man you want. Out of those, I think somebody asked the question, was that David? He's talking about out of those, so you don't have to pick from those three. It's a real man out there too that he's going to cover.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we definitely going to be ready for next week. That's for sure. Yes, Uncle Rom, Uncle Rom going to have to bring it. If you don't hear Uncle Rom and you just listening, we want you to bring it.
Right.
So does that? What is a nice guy?
I want to know what is a nice guy. Look, Johnny, I got the same question, especially since that's in the title of the book. Look, is that one of the chapters, Nick? Does he go into what a nice guy is?
Well, we talked about nice guys last week, remember?
Yeah, I think he does. I think he really does go into a nice guy. And so he mentioned the nice guy is the guy that actually, if you have kids, he will actually become that stepfather immediately. He will help your kids out, whatever you want them to do. This guy may go to church. He's a praying man. He actually volunteers in his community. He helps. He's a mentor to the guys that need a mentor. He has a good job, and he will pretty much do anything for his woman. He's opening doors. Not saying that's bad, but the one thing about the nice guy, I'm just saying the one thing about the nice guy is that he will actually forget his purpose and passion to follow the woman. So he will actually put up with a lot of crap, like somebody said before, because he's actually, he's so, he wants to get that woman so bad. So he will actually put down his purpose and his passion and forget about himself sometimes to get the woman. So that's one thing about that.
You should have chopped it off right there before you start saying that he will forget about his passion. To leave us on a high note, you should have just defined the nice guy at that, because I was with you with that part. because that's the guy that we ultimately really and truly dream about and desire, you know. But the part about forgetting about his passion, I think that there are some nice guys out there that don't forget about their purpose, you know, and their passion, that are good fits for us.
Yeah. So I just had to do that because in the book he talks about some of the flaws of a nice guy because he gets run over sometimes because he doesn't have that excitement. You know, he doesn't have that excitement. He doesn't have that spontaneity. You already know what he's gonna do. He's very routine driven. So that's one thing about a nice guy. So I like you said, Jaquitra, I agree with you. You have to be very mature to actually want to be with a nice guy. You see what I'm saying? You have to know that he's a good man. You have to believe that and know that. And sometimes you even have to put up with the fact that you may not get a lot of surprise with him. You know, he's a solid dude, but you may not get a lot of surprise. You may not get that wild side. You may not get a lot of different things from a nice guy. So that's one thing about it, though.
Okay, well, I have a question because you made a comment and you said that he's going to be very routine. One of the complaints, or correct me if I'm wrong, I know I was married, but since you're married, still married, one of the complaints that a lot of people say in marriages is that it becomes so routine, you know, so that is a problem. So when you said that the nice guy is routine, and then when you get into marriage, it becomes so routine, you're penalizing someone for something that means that you have to be, the female has to become routine as well.
So like I said, that's one of the flaws that he says about the nice guy. So what I like to say is that I wouldn't be a nice guy, I'd be a good guy. See, and the good guy to me is the difference between this good guy. He's so focused on his purpose and passion that he never forgets about himself. Now, the thing is, he's that same guy, like a nice guy to open the door. He's that same mentor. You know, he volunteers in his community, but at the same time, he stays focused. He's also that guy that gives you that excitement side. You know, he may ride a motorcycle. You know, he may want to go boat riding, parasailing. He'll do jumping out the helicopter. He'll do those type of things as well. So he's a good guy, but he don't get ran over. So at the same time, so he doesn't let anybody push him over. He's not a pushover.
Wait. Good guy. Was that the chapter? Did I miss that?
No, that's me. That's me speaking.
Oh,
that's me speaking.
Okay, listen. So what we gonna need Uncle Rom to do is to come with some graphs. You know, we're gonna need some columns and some graphs.
Mia said,
because now we got nice guy, we got player, we got mask man, we got games man, we got, you know, Michelin man. We got all these different men. We just want to, you know what, Nick? I like that. We just want a good man, a good God-fearing man. That's what we want.
Candace wants to know, where's the balance guy?
Right. That's the real man. That's the real man, Uncle Ron.
Oh, that's the real man. Okay. Okay. Yeah. See, that's why we gonna need. Can you ask him to do like a PowerPoint presentation, you know, with all of these different type men to help us women understand?
He's gonna break it down so well that you won't need a PowerPoint presentation. Trust me.
Well, we're gonna need something, a recap or something. So yes, I need some visualization, sis. Yes. Right. I'm more visual. That's what I need. Mia says she coming prepared with some index cards.
That's what she said.
Okay.
Okay, so Ozzy had a comment. I got to put it up here for he.
Let's read his thesis. Look, DK hadn't said anything. What's up, DK?
Look, DK taking notes. All right. Ozzy said, well, it has a lot to do with the environment that a person likes to hang out in, and the environment that develops that person's concept of women, and the bypass of treatment by them also. So self-awareness is quite important. The reality in the world is real in relationships on all different levels. Okay. I see you, Javon. Hey.
Yes, Ozzy.
All right. Nicole Dorsey. Hey, Nicole. She said a real good man. So she done combined them. Look, she done combined them. A real good man.
So look, a good guy, as I say, a good guy has that streak of badness in him. So he has a streak of that bad, that kind of like outlaw type. He has that side of him that he can actually turn on when he needs to. A good guy, when he needs to, he can turn that on. You know, so that's one thing about a good guy. A lot of times, a nice guy, he may not be that creative. You see what I'm saying? It's like, he may not be that creative. So, but a good guy actually has that part of him too. Like he can be bad if he needs to. He can be bad when he needs to.
But remember last week someone said that we wanted a nice thug.
Yes, that's what I mean.
So I guess we want a good thug or a nice thug or a real good nice thug.
Right. See, the thing is, when you say a nice thug, correct me if I'm wrong, he can't be a thug all the time. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. So that's what I mean. A good guy has that thug in him, and he bring it out when he needs to. When it comes to protection, when it comes to the bedroom, when it comes to stepping up for himself, when it comes to like being on a job, taking over, running a business. That's that side he has, that hustling him. He's still a good guy, but he has that side. He could wear that hat. He can turn it on when he needs to.
So it's kind of like for the men to say that they want their woman to be a lady in the streets and a freak in the bed.
Hey, don't get no better than that.
Okay.
Yes, that's like a quote that it never gets old.
Okay.
Like I said, 10% hood, about 10%, just about 10%. And that 10% comes out when you need it.
Right. Yeah, I think Type Mike broke that down for us on the hood.
Yeah, about 10%.
Okay. Right. Hold on, we got a few comments. B Joyous said, "Be real." Ozzy said, "A nice thug that doesn't beat up on women."
Right.
They don't hit you, Ozzy.
Look, he only beat up on one thing.
Lord have mercy. And let me shout out to Ron Wilson. Hey, Vaughn. All right, so,
okay. So the next question was, what are some of the struggles of the player / gamesman?
So the gamesman, and I think we kind of covered it. The gamesman actually, he doesn't have substance. So the player doesn't have any substance. So it's like he knows exactly how to get a woman. He knows how to treat a woman, but he won't take the time to develop himself to become that person. So like I said, he rather just fake it until you try to make it. Like I said, until you figure him out, he'll borrow somebody's car. You may want to call him like the back of the day, that scrub. I don't want no scrub. So he's acting like, this is a homeboy car. That's his homeboy's house, but he's actually acting like it's his. So he won't develop himself. So that's the struggles that he had, because he cannot stay in a relationship because women figure him out. So once you with him for a while, it takes about probably 2 to 3 months at the most. Some women figure it out even further. It won't take that long.
I think that's depends on how strong your spirit of discernment is, and if you listen to it.
So that's the struggle. He'll never be in a relationship that lasts, because again, when you're in a relationship, you have to have some substance about yourself. And if you with that person for so long, you will figure them out. And so once he gets figured out, he moves on because his game is up. Like his time is up, so he has to leave.
And that's why you don't involve the sex so early too, because if it's good, you'll ignore some of those signs.
You get emotionally attached. He's not good for you, but you can't walk away. You're not strong enough.
Then when he can't get his friend car, he'll be like, "Can you come pick me up?" You're like, "Okay."
I'll be right over.
But is that really a struggle? I mean, especially if this is their persona, this is what they do, this is how they get down. Is it really a struggle for them? I mean, they don't really have a desire to be in a committed, monogamous relationship.
I think he referenced this in a book. It is a struggle. And the thing is, he feels like even if he tried to settle down with someone, they wouldn't want him. Like he feel like he's not good enough. So that's why he tries to be somebody else. And remember,
so I would think that it would be more of a mental struggle.
Yeah, I think so too. I
mean, definitely. I would think that. The problem is a lot of people, I think I was talking to someone the other day and it's like about how they don't like drama. And I was like, well, who likes drama? And he was like, believe me, some people like drama. Because I think that some people, that's just how they are. They don't know any other way. So I think in this case, that would be the case for that young man,
For the player or the gamesman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So drama for some people is also excitement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Drama is also excitement.
And maybe in this case, for this young man, the whole player, gamesman, masked man, that's their excitement. They get a high off of that, Yes. Who knows?
So
Uncle Ron knows.
Right. Ozzy said players get burnt out, so he regroups and changes his mindset to become a real man.
That's true, Ozzy. I've seen that several times. Seen that several times.
Okay, you're saying that you've seen that several times, but yet and still, it's still a lot of players out there.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. But like you said, you get that gets old. After spending all this money and
When they was
trying
60
to
years
yeah.
old and
One thing,
go get the blue pill.
yeah.
I mean, like that's what sisters be at the altar on their knees praying, God, please release them demons. We want a real man, not these players out here.
One thing he talked about too with the gamesman is that, like you said, even if he has a job, when he makes money, he spends it all on clothes. Because again, he wants to betray. It's a facade. He wants you to think that he has it together. But to go back to your point, Nicole, I do believe it is a struggle for them. Because remember, the gamesman also has been hurt in his life. He's not very attractive. He really don't have the body and everything. So he's trying to make up for all of that. Mm-hmm. So again, he really wants a relationship. When it comes down to the end of the day, like Ozzy said, he really does want a relationship, but he don't think the woman will actually accept who he really is. Mm-hmm. So he just continue to play games and get what he wants, right? He get, because he's having fun at the same time. Now he's having fun while he's doing all this, with different women, every 2 or 3 months because they didn't figure them out. So he's having fun out there.
He gonna have to move out of town because he gonna be done went through all the women after a while.
You know what, Nicole? That's what we believe, but for some reason it still works. Because it's on the other side, there's some woman out there that's just as messed up that go along with that, even though, like what the young lady said, about a woman will pick up on that. Yeah, a real woman will pick up on that, and lady who has a spirit of discernment. But unfortunately, the reason why they keep doing it is because there are available women out there that they can get away with, with doing it on.
The type of woman.
You said what now?
I'll say the type of woman that will have a hard time picking up on that is the woman that don't know herself. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't know yourself and you don't know what you want, then that looks like what you want and what you need until you figure it out after about 2 to 3 months, I guess, that's not really what you want. He's not who he said he was.
True. Very true. Very true.
You put up several comments. If you could go back, I didn't see. They scrolled across so quickly.
Well,
what were the last two?
The last.
Okay, Ozzy.
Tina, she said, burned out, broken down, and want to settle down. No thanks. And she was.
But
she was just.
It seems like that's what we're getting right. I mean, at our age. At our age, you run across a lot of those.
So I want to go back to your comment y'all made about Michael Ealy. So one thing about Michael Ealy that he had to realize is that he was trying to impress, instead of what Uncle Ron and myself, what we talk about, becoming the best version of yourself. Mm-hmm. Eventually he got it. Like, this dude was actually a cook and became a chef, and he opened up his own thing, which is a great thing, but it's like he felt like that he had to impress her with something else, which is not the best version of himself. You're a cook. You like to cook. You're a chef. You're good at that. Focus on that and just become the best version of that. You shouldn't have to be nobody else. Right. If they don't want you for who you really are, that's not the person for you. That's just it. When you become the best version of yourself and they still don't want you, they're not for you. That's not your tribe. It's a lot of other women out there for you. And that comes to, that's women and men.
Right.
But I think that's one of the hardest things to do, I'm just going to be honest. I mean, because I know it takes a long time for you to really and truly get free, and I think that if we're going to be honest with ourselves, it's hard for you to love who you are, and be able to be you. Because there are so many people in relationships now that are not comfortable with who they really are. I'm just being honest. And I think, that's why it's so difficult for people, because I have conversations with people all the time. Say, for instance, like this, some women don't feel comfortable using the bathroom at a man's house. Some men may not feel comfortable using the bathroom at a woman's house, and I'm like, at our age, we should be comfortable with who we are, no matter where we go or who we're with. To just be able to be us. But there are certain things that we're not comfortable around people doing certain things.
Yeah, I think that speaks to a lack of healing on some in some regards because we may be scarred from past relationships, and you know somebody may have called us out, because of something that they didn't like about us, and now we're feeling self conscious or feeling like we need to modify our behavior. I know I again also like you talk to a lot of people, and married men in particular. I've noticed that a number of them um, have had some issue with kind of who they have become or morphed into in an effort to try to, maybe please their wife or their mate, and just don't feel like they can really be themselves with her. Um, and it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. So I don't know, Nick. You look like you got something to say.
That's sad, Nicole. I mean, because it hit me hard when you said that, because you can actually get lost in a relationship. That's even before you get married. Now, the thing is about that, you can break that relationship off, but a lot of times in a marriage, that's supposed to be long term. So it's kind of hard, man. It's like if you can't be yourself in a marriage and you said you want to be with this person for the rest of your life, that's very, very sad. And if you feel like that if you actually become who you really are and that person won't like you no more or don't want to be with you no more, that is like devastating. So when you said it, I just thought about that. I don't really know anybody like that personally, but I just feel like that's a sad case. Man, I would want to talk to them. Definitely. I would want to talk to them because I have to go back to something we talked about before, is that you're not responsible for that person's happiness. You're really not.
Hmm.
They're responsible for their own happiness. They need to be happy before they meet you. And
Right.
y'all could be happy together and build on that happiness. But it's like, that's not your responsibility to make that person happy. And that's what it sounds like they're trying to do. They don't want to be themselves because they feel like that person will not be happy anymore, especially with them.
But
Yeah.
I think that that would be difficult for someone to really be that transparent to share that. I think that's very hard for someone to say that. So you may know some people that are like that and you can observe that, but I think that people are not going to be honest with you about that, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh, look, now we're going down again.
Okay. So you said once you get free of foolishness and get to know yourself, it's easier not to settle the next time around. Jamaica said you truly have to release all the toxins and really detox and go on a self finding journey.
Yeah, Dan said that scars become deep wounds when they are not allowed to heal.
Hmm.
That's true.
Yeah. 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 So sometimes
Etna said
you need to
something.
take a break and not just jump into the next relationship.
That's so true. I actually, before I married my wife, I took 5 years off. Like I just want to develop myself because I just felt like I owed that to whoever I married. I just want to become the best version of myself. So I actually was just working on me. It was a lot of some women that still wanted to actually, they was okay with who I was at that point. But I kept telling them, I'm working on me and I don't want to be in a relationship right now. I said, and I used to tell them right now, I mess you up. If I actually got in a relationship with you, I mess you up.
Good
Totally.
for you, Nick. Good
So
for
I said, yeah, you don't want me right now. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I said, no, you don't. You don't want me right now. So I
you.
took 5 years off before I got married and actually just worked on myself.
Awesome.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
I only took a year off, and now I think I'm finding it hard to get back on that on that journey.
Camille said, true. Your spouse should enhance the happiness that you already have within. Jamaica said, it is when they aren't comfortable with themselves. So, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think all of that starts though before you even get married. I mean, that starts even before you become exclusive. I think you have to have those candid, honest conversations.
You
You really
know,
do.
and I would tend to agree with you, but I'll give you a case in point. So, male friend of mine who I knew from college, has probably been married about 20 years. I don't know, when in his marriage, but his wife became a super Christian. So the things that they used to do, they used to drink, they used to smoke, they used to, do all of these things. Now she's not with it. She's not having it. and so now she's evolved into like this new person that's kind of like this browbeating, you know, telling him the morality police, basically, you know. So now he's having to change, some of the things that he like, no secular music, not even drinking wine, that sort of thing. So you can't really control who your mate may evolve into, right? So what are you supposed to do?
uh, love doctor. I think that's a good one. I want to hear what Nick has to say about that one. Unmute.
I think that's tough, Nicole. I think that's tough, and I think somebody actually need to go to counseling. That's what I would say. They actually need to go to counseling, because the thing is that when you have a person like that, you really have to go to counseling, because the thing is, if you're trying to be that person, and then they won't accept that, then that means that you have to have somebody else that may be doing the counseling to point those things out. Like, you guys used to do this, and how wrong it is to kind of just totally transform to this person that still enjoys some of the things y'all used to do in the past. Mm-hmm. So they have to kind of point that out. It's like, you just can't transition like that and then just leave them out there and say, we can't do that no more. Like, it's unfair to you to just say, for instance, some people develop faster than others. So you was able to do all that and then just kind of stop cold turkey, or it may have took you a little while, but this person is not there yet. So that means that you have to give them grace to actually get to that point where you may be, or even just strive to where they're going to get to that point in their own personal development themselves. They may not never get where you at, but you can't criticize them when you do the same thing. That's being a hypocrite. So, I mean, it's like, I would think they need to go to counseling and actually have somebody else point out that this person may not get where you are right now, and you still have to accept that and give them grace. Just because you may feel it's wrong, they may not feel it's wrong. Yeah. So it's like, you guys got to realize and how to coexist at the same time and still enjoy the things y'all used to enjoy together.
And I hope they wouldn't go to her pastor for the counseling.
I agree with that, Jakeisha. You need to go to a neutral party. Someone, I would say that either they neutral, that they know both of you guys, and they neutral, they can stay neutral, or go to somebody totally different and don't know neither one of y'all. And all they doing is just taking the information that you giving them, and they going in from that. So so I seen that a lot. Like, we're gonna go to counsel, we're gonna go to my pastor or her, I'm just like, oh, okay. Yeah. So it's almost like they one-sided already, because they may know this person better than the other one. So it's not fair.
Right. All right, Ozzy said recreate and cultivate their values concept. Shantina said no meeting of the mind, so they need a referee. And B Joy said, I think she's being unfair in the marriage. Yeah. But I mean, you don't know who, again, that person is going to transform into, during the relationship. And there are changes that take place, right? In marriage, within the
Now, Kenneth Jackson said, when one person becomes an ultra religious convert and their partner does it, only God can intervene and preserve that relationship going forward. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's true.
It's possible.
I mean, that's where in the Bible it says some things come through prayer and supplication. True. And that's one of them.
True.
So yeah, if you're a Christian, then I definitely say you want to go to a Christian counselor. You want to go to a Christian therapist, so they can actually throw your relationship in there too, with the counseling. Definitely want to do that.
Johnny said in humanities class, he was told that a person will have several relationships during a lifetime,
or several marriages.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what your humanities teacher told you.
Yeah,
they probably was on their third marriage.
Oh, right.
So one thing about it, I don't know if he's really thinking this way, that we talked about this before, that a person actually evolves about every 10 to 15 years. So, I mean, it could be a different marriage, and marriage also should be evolving also as well. So it could be two different people, not totally different, but the foundation is there. But when it comes to who they become, that could be different. And then the marriage is better, at the same time. So I don't know if Johnny is kind of alluding to that as well.
Okay. Well, I mean, and to look at it, I know a lot of my friends, we're divorced. So, I mean, if we remarry, that will be our second, marriage. So we can look at it from, I guess, that standpoint too, because if you don't do it the way the Bible says, and if it's not built on a solid foundation, and if that's not the person that God ordained for you, then it probably will end in divorce. And if you're fortunate enough, he bless you again with the right one, then hey.
Okay. All righty. Well,
Was it
any more comments on your end, Joketra?
I do have a couple. I was going to ask Nick, was there anything else about Uncle Rom from the book? Because I think you had mentioned something else earlier. Can you think of anything else that you wanted to share before he graces us next week?
No, I actually want to kind of leave it a little bit like a cliffhanger, a little bit, because I kind of want him to dive into some stuff that I just kind of touched the surface on, and I want him to kind of really get into it. So he'll be able to do that. So I can't wait. So you guys are going to be in for a treat. So I want to leave it like this. But again, there is hope because he's going to talk about the real man. Okay, you don't have to choose from those three that we went over tonight. So you have hope. It's the real man. So Uncle Ron will actually expound on that because that was one of the topics that he said he wanted to talk about, which is great.
All righty.
Well, Dan said for you, Nick, that he really appreciated what you said. He said he think it was good. A lot of people don't understand that folks need that time to define themselves. So that was good. You probably should share that more with men that you took 5 years off.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did. And
a lot of men don't like to take time off.
I needed to take time off because I was a totally different person. So I just felt like it would be unfair to me to jump into a relationship and all this stuff I had going on.
You was out there running them streets.
Listen. Look, the stuff I know now, a lot of the stuff I know from experience. Let's just put it that way.
You was knocking them down.
I bet that from experience.
Nick ain't gonna tell his business.
I already know.
But Nick, you really probably should, like Dan said, talk more about that time that you took that break because, men probably need to know that and what you were doing during that time, like how you were preparing yourself.
You were praying a lot, Nick.
Definitely praying a lot. Definitely praying a lot. I was in a good church, so I was really getting fed well, and I was really a lot of spiritual development to the point I got to the point where I was actually looking at women different. So before, I actually would approach whoever I wanted to approach. That was just me. Like I study a little bit, and I just approach who I want to approach. For the first time, I would say, when I actually gave my life to Christ and I was living for him, the first time that I approached my wife, it really wasn't me. It really wasn't by myself. Wow. I'm be honest. It's like
it was all God.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I was in church and he was like again, God allows you to choose your mate. He does. He allows it. That's the grace that he gives you. But he told me, he was like, I'm not saying that's your wife, but that's the type of woman you need in your life for what I want you to do. And he was talking about my wife. So based on God knowing me and what he had for me, he said, that's the type of woman you need. Now I could have chose somebody else because that's my free will to do that. But he said, that is the one that you will need. That's the type of woman you need in your life to do what I want you to do.
Nice.
And it all checked out. Every box checked. Everything checked out. Because of course, I had to question that because I never heard that before. Because I ain't never asked God about who I'm approaching. I did it myself. I didn't need his help. Mm-hmm. So it was like he spoke to me.
Look, that was the flesh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I approached what I thought was good. So and when that was the first time that ever happened before in my life, so I had to question it and say, I'm not used to this voice. And so I actually did it. And I was like, that all checked out.
So was it a quiet, still voice? Like they tell you, the Bible says for you to listen to his quiet, still voice.
It wasn't loud. You're right, because God is a gentleman. So yeah, it was quiet. It was still, but he's a gentleman. He don't yell at you. Right. So it was like, hey, that's what you need. That's the type of woman you need.
Johnny said Nick was the masked man.
It sounded like Nick was a little bit of the gamesman too.
I was probably about all three.
Yeah.
A combination.
And Nick, I have to ask you this. Okay, because did you take it so far back in your 5 years? Did you take it so far back as your childhood to where that may have come from as to why you were all three of those men?
Um, I would say it had a lot to do with my childhood. It definitely had a lot to do with my childhood. My parents, I'm a divorcee. My parents, both of them, they got a divorce and they got remarried, so they're doing well now. But I experienced a divorce in my life early on, and so with that being said, a lot of times the pain becomes your purpose.
Yeah.
So when I seen that, I didn't want to see that again, and so I always wanted to see healthy relationships. So I wanted to be a conduit, as you say, to help with those relationships because I didn't want to see anybody else get a divorce because I lived through that.
We need to talk about that like more for real, Nick, because you've already, so just in that statement you touched on adverse childhood experiences and divorce. Your parents divorcing is one of those. Yeah. And the impact that can make on your life, right, and your decisions, and that hurts. So again, not now, not tonight, but
yeah.
No, I mean, I think that us being transparent, all of us, I think that's something that needs to be said and that's why I ask, because I've learned that our childhood really does have an impact on how we see our personal relationships, our intimate relationships, everything. It really does. So I always ask a guy, how was his childhood? And for me to go deeper in that, because it can also tell you how they may treat you, how they feel about relationships. It covers the gamut. So that's why I ask. But yeah, I definitely think it's something that we need to talk about, and for us to feel more comfortable talking about it and not feel as if we're going to be judged, because a lot of men especially will hold back because they feel like they're going to be judged. They're scared to cry in front of a woman. They're scared to express their childhood because they feel as if they're going to be judged. Absolutely. So thank you for sharing.
Right.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. And thank you, Erica, for that. Like I said, like they talked about that before, like, you hear it all the time that divorce hurts the children more than anything. And it does. Like I experienced that myself. Like I know the parents are hurt and everything like that. But like I said, they moved on. But I don't have my parents, they're not with the same people right now. And so I lived through that. So it really hurts the children. It really does.
And it's interesting that you say that, Nick, because I think so many times you'll hear people say, well, the children will be okay. Children are so resilient, that sort of thing. But, really, people need to take the time to find out what's going on with the children and really how they feel about it and how it is affecting them. Because now, the environment that they were in with both, mother and father is now severed, and they're splitting their time between households. And now, possibly there's a mate for the mother or the father, and that's a whole nother dynamic. And then if they have children, and so it's a whole life shift.
Well, I can attest to that. I mean, because I'm a divorced mom, and I can attest to that, with parents that were divorced but still married. I have a whole totally funny situation. But yeah, I can definitely attest to that. And I think that's why I'm so mindful about the men that I bring in my life because of my children. And until I took the year off and really did some research, I was guilty of saying, oh, kids are so resilient, they'll bounce back. But that's not the case. So you're right.
Like you said, and a lot of times the kid don't even know how much trauma they actually went through doing a divorce, that they don't do an introspection of their life. They don't really sit back and actually evaluate how they operate in relationships and know the deeper root issue why they do these things. And it could go all the way back to that divorce that they never got a chance to process through and deal with it emotionally.
Right.
Okay.
I'm sorry. To children, what parents do and don't do.
Nick, I got a question for you. And
you laughing, so I need to prepare myself because you laughing.
Yes, you do. This question is from Edna. She said, yes, during that time, Nick, were you abstaining sexually, or were you sampling them and saying, I don't want a relationship?
I was actually abstaining sexually. I really was, because I understood that would cloud my judgment. And it would hinder my development at the time. Now, of course, that was the hardest thing in my life, of course, because again, it's not like I went on some island, I was away from women.
Right.
So, I mean, I was still attracted, that was attracted to me because again, I wasn't a bad dude, but I just wanted to do more things. I wanted to develop myself. So still, there's a lot of women that was okay with the package. They was okay with my conversation. They was okay because I, still had good charisma, still know how to talk to women, but at the same time, I still wanted to work on me.
Man.
Huh? Yeah. I still
select.
Right. I'm still being myself now, but at the same time, I'm still working on myself. So that was hard, but I did. And I was proud of myself for doing that for 5 years.
Wow. Well, okay. Kenneth
I
Jackson
didn't miss
said,
anything also, so it ain't, I'm just telling you, like 5 years, I did enough.
big ups to you, Nick, on that. Big ups to you. Kenneth said that he honestly wound up having relationships for better and for worse because of and in spite of the relationships that his parents had. So he said that he divorced in part because of some things he didn't want his daughters duplicating from his marriage with somebody else's son. So, and Dan said he understands that, Nick.
Yeah.
Nick, we're so proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. It made me who I am now today. And that's why I'm doing this right now, because I always had a passion about healthy relationships. So it's like, again, you have a lot of resources for people that are married, but I've seen a gap for people that actually were dating still, that want to get to marriage. That may be the goal, but who's helping the people that's dating? And so that's why I actually became a dating coach.
So that's a good segue, Nick, into the Love Innovators. Tell us about it.
So the Love Innovators, CEO of the Love Innovators, and you could actually email me for a free consultation at theloveinnovators@gmail.com. Also, please follow me on Twitter at Love Innovators and on Instagram at The Love Innovators. And like I said, I do a free consultation. Whatever your dating needs are, I'm pretty sure I can meet them. So I like to spend like a month or either 2 months with you so we can really help and dive into what some of your struggles are. Because like you said, it takes about 21 days to form a habit. But I always like to say after you form the habit, you need to apply the habit. So we need to apply what you've learned so it becomes what you do for the rest of your life.
Okay. Nick, I'm so happy I asked Edna's question because they were on here roasting you, talking about you used to be the Rick James singing Fire and Desire. Dan said, talking about you remember you used to love them and leave them. That's what I used to do and abuse them. So now they got to get off you.
It's fine. I don't have what they say. I got thick skin, so I can go with the best of them. I've been there, done that, so it's all good though.
Good.
And then Kenneth said something I think that's good. He said, I observed that a lot of women marry expecting men to change for the better. Most men marry praying that women won't change for the worse.
That's good.
That is good.
That is good.
Yeah.
I have to kind of agree with that too. That's good because one thing about it, when a man sees you and he meets you, that's what he likes. And so when I say that's what he likes, a lot of times that doesn't change. So he hoping you don't change. Now understand that you had kids and things like that. Of course, he knows your body gonna change. But trust me, if you get back to how he finally met you, he met you in the beginning, oh, he's gonna be so happy because what he likes does not change.
Then that's how all the babies keep coming.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that was a word right there.
It really was. That was good, Kenneth. You did good. And actually, he said quite a few things on here.
Okay.
But I think that's all that I have. Okay. So
good deal. All right. So we want to definitely encourage you all to come back next week at 8:30 p.m. for our live chat with author Rom Wills. Uncle Rom, as Nick refers to him as, and we're going to be talking about this book, Nice Guys and Players. Nice Guys and Players. So we've already given you the precursor.
Yes. Right? Yes.
for the first couple of chapters, this week's live, tonight's live rather, and last week. So if you want to get a refresh, you can check out last week's. You can also check us out on our Single in the City Where Kings Meet Queens YouTube channel. So you
Check
can
this
catch
out.
the replay there if you don't want to look at it on Facebook. But bring your friends. Tell them to join us next week. We're gonna have a
And
good
be look and tell them to be on time. I wouldn't want to miss none of this.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you, ladies, and everybody else. I don't get excited about a whole lot of things. You know, I really don't, because I'm normally a calm, cool, collect person. But Uncle Ron, y'all in for a treat. I'm just trying to tell you, y'all in for a treat. I actually been following him for about a year now. Read 2 of his books already, and the guy, like they call him the field general.
Mm.
When I'm saying this guy has been doing this since 1995, like this guy has a wealth of knowledge,
Is he
wisdom.
married? Is he
He used
married?
to be married. He used to be married.
Used
Definitely
to
used to
be.
be married. Yeah, he used to
Okay,
be
that's a rich
co-parenting
young
right
he
now.
used to be.
Yeah, he's co-parenting right now, but I'll let him get into that if he so desires. But
Is he our age?
I would say I think Uncle Ron was about 55. He's 50 something years old.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Player,
yeah.
player.
So yeah, you guys are in for a treat. Like I said, I'm excited about it. I can't wait for Uncle Ron to get here and get your questions ready, especially about the book. But he's gonna cover the real man too. So you guys are in for a treat.
All right.
Well,
Well,
we all going to be like Mia and have our index cards and questions ready.
Please
yeah,
do. Please do.
we need to
I'm
dive.
still I still take notes myself. So
Really?
yes,
And what's
yes.
the title of his other book?
I know he has like several books. That's the thing. I read 2 of
Oh,
them, but he has several books. Like he does business too. Uncle Ron does a lot of different things. So he's also like I want to say he does business. He has a lot of different channels. He does a lot. Let's
and
just
where
say
is he out of?
DC.
Oh, he's a DC man.
Yes, yes. Mhm.
That's the number one dating city or area.
He's helping a lot of different people in DC.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we definitely want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for your comments and your interaction. We really appreciate it. That motivates us and drives us. Your energy. We appreciate all of our viewers and fans. So again, meet us here next Tuesday, the 15th, 8:30 p.m. for our live conversation with author Uncle Rom Wills. Uncle Rom Wills, and get the book. If you haven't already, get the book so you'll be ready.
Ready. It's
All
a
right,
good read, definitely.
indeed. All right. Well, we're gonna call it a night and we'll see y'all next week.
Good night.
All right.